It's fitting. I've started the women's ice hockey question, so I'm beat reporter. Volleyball question, I'm beat reporter
too. That is how they design it, yeah.
What creates offense?
Defense.
What creates defense?
Offense.
No, the goalie in the back of the net.
So you're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy because...
At least if you're going to pick a trap game, pick the right ones.
Little fast footwork. I know your feet don't move that fast.
Brady, that's all flash, no cash. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a goal.
What are you doing pulling out Ryan?
Brady,
are you ready for some debate? This Bobcat Breakdown starts right now.
Hello and welcome into Studio 125 for another episode of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm your host, Christina Tsemetis, alongside Eli Ehlers and Brandon Murdoch. We've got an exciting show on deck for tonight, so how are you guys feeling?
Murdoch, start it off.
I'm really excited. After a really fun weekend up in Lake Placid, I'm happy to be back and ready to debate.
Yeah, first time on desk debating this year for Breakdown, and I'm excited for it. Let's get into it.
Starting off on the ice, the men's ice hockey team was up in Lake Placid for the ECAC playoffs last Friday. They faced off against Cornell in the semifinals, falling in overtime with a score of 3-2. After their performance in Lake Placid, which player do you think needs to bounce back from the semifinals to help this team make a run in the NCAA tournament? Eli, as the men's ice hockey beat reporter, why don't you start us off?
Now, Brandon, we talked about this before the show when we were going through run-throughs. So here's question number one within the question. Do you know the four players that were all in the minus category in the semifinal?
I know one of them.
Who?
One of our defensemen, Davis Pennington.
Yes, Davis Pennington, Cooper Moore, Travis Treelor, and Jack Ricketts. All four of them are leaders. Mm-hmm. Your leaders should not be the players in the minus category. And Davis Pennington specifically, he struggled in that game. He had the terrible pinch in the third period that led to the game-tying goal. He should not be making that pinch there. And another thing to think about, it's not the best look that the guy who's known for set face-off plays in Rand Pecknold got beat on a set face-off play. So not the best look from the team in general, but I think as a team, they just need to be stronger in the controllables. You can't be taking penalties that aren't needed in overtime. You can't be making those little mistakes like Davis Pennington pinching when you don't need to pinch. And another thing to think about, Victor Chernesky in there is their best face-off guy. He went 2 for 13 at the face-off dot. He's your most reliable face-off guy. He can't be doing that.
No, certainly, and there was a lot of mistakes made. We saw it live, but I'm going to go with Jeremy Wilmer in this one.
Okay.
Let me set the scene for you a little bit. He leads the team in points, but in Lake Placid, a house of horrors for this team.
Most definitely.
He looked very pedestrian at times.
Yeah.
And coming in, last Brown game, the second leg of the quarterfinals,
yep.
He didn't get a point. Before that, 6-game point streak. So you kind of had the expectation of coming in a bit hot. He just didn't do it.
Yeah.
He didn't look engaged. Many times, like you were talking about mistakes being made, he was very much up there with those guys. A lot of times he was late to the puck. He kept pucks in for Cornell, and he allowed pucks to get out for Cornell's defense. It wasn't good enough. One of the biggest things that shocked me a little bit was his unaware of the clock. At the end of the second period, he had a chance. He made a nice move to get around the defenseman, had a chance to pass it on front or even take a shot. He tried to go around the net. Clock ended. What happened?
Yeah, and another thing to think about with Wilmer is he played at BU. He's a transfer from BU. So it's not like this is his first time playing in big games. We know BU has made it far in the NCAA tournament and the Hockey East tournament. So a guy like Wilmer, you really do need him to step up. And if he's not going to make plays in an ECAC game, not the best look going into the NCAA tournament too.
Yeah, definitely. He was in the Frozen Four 2 years ago, so he has the experience, like you mentioned. And one of the big things on this team, why that makes him so successful, is their special teams. And he just wasn't there. He had 2 shots in the game. Granted, that both came on the special teams, but they went 1 for 5 in the game. It wasn't good enough, and he's a big reason for that. 5v5, he was pretty much non-existent.
Before we move on, can we both agree that it's not Matej Marinow's fault?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, that's all I got.
Now moving on, during the selection show on Sunday, it was revealed that Quinnipiac would take on the University of Connecticut in Allentown, Pennsylvania for the NCAA Tournament Regionals. The Huskies defeated the Bobcats 2-1 in the first round of the CT Ice Tournament back in January. Which player on UConn do you think will make the most impact during regionals? Brandon, let's start with you.
I'm going to go with sophomore forward Joey Maldoni.
Okay.
He leads the team in points this season. This is a common trend, and this is why I picked Wilmer on my other top, because he needs to keep up with the forwards on UConn. 45 points, including 27 goals. This guy is a big-time goal scorer. And as you saw firsthand in the CT Ice semifinals, he had the game-winning assist on Ryan Title's last-second winner. So he has a knack for the big game, and he has a knack for hurting the Bobcats in the big game.
No, I definitely agree with you. I get where you're coming from. For me, it's very up in the air right now because Hudson Shandor is their captain. Mm-hmm. He hasn't played He didn't play in the semifinal or the final. He tried it in the semifinal warm-ups, couldn't go, so he didn't play. He's a big factor. But if it's not him, for me, it has to be their goaltending. Both Callum Tung and Tyler Muselik have been excellent all year long. You talked about that CT Ice game. In that press conference after, Rand Pecknold said one of the reasons why they lost was because Tyler Muselik was the best player all game long. He made save after save after save, and he really shut Quinnipiac down. Quinnipiac had a lot of momentum in that third period, and they couldn't do a lot off of that momentum because Muselik was making phenomenal save after phenomenal save. But another thing to keep in mind is we really don't know which goalie is going to be playing because the two of them have ran a rotation down the stretch of the season because they have two phenomenal goaltenders, and it was Muselik that played in the championship game, so it would line up to be Tung's game. But at the same time, they also had Tung didn't play against Quinnipiac, so maybe they go back to Muselik. I think that'll be a big factor as well.
Something to say, I think they might go to Muselik just because of his age, experience, being the junior.
That's
again.
true.
But it's something to talk out for, definitely.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, when it comes to the NCAA tournament, you want the experience factor. And Quinnipiac, they have that experience factor as well because they have a lot of leaders. But for UConn, it's their first NCAA tournament, which is going to be hard for them because Quinnipiac, yes, they have 15 new guys, but their roster has some experience in the tournament. They only have 4 guys who are on the national championship team, but UConn has no guys who have ever played an NCAA tournament game, and I think that'll factor into it.
Yeah, but Muselik being one of their bigger, more experienced players on that team, he kind of laid an egg in that Hockey East Finals. 4 goals on 23 shots against UMaine. I'm a big momentum guy, so if they ride with him in the NCAA tournament, even a bigger stage, how's he going to look?
Yeah, exactly.
Now taking a broader look at the tournament, out of all of the matchups, which regional do you think will be the toughest? Eli can start us off.
Now, Murdoch, I have a feeling we're not going to agree on this.
I hope not.
I'm going to go with the Manchester regional. Yes, Bentley's not the strongest. They're coming in as the 16 seed, but look at last year's Providence regional. It's very similar. You have Boston College, both #1 seeds. You have Michigan Tech and Bentley. Both were underdog league tournament winners. You have Wisconsin and Providence. They both missed the tournament in their previous season. And then you have Quinnipiac and Denver, both reigning national champions. And Providence, in my opinion, was hands down the most electrifying regional last year. You had 2 games go to overtime, and people will say that BC Michigan Tech game wasn't good. It was 6-1 BC. Do you know what the score was going into the third period?
What was it?
Oh, so you don't know. It was 2-1 BC. That was a really good game until the third period when Michigan Tech took a dumb penalty. BC capitalized, and you can't put that BC team on the power play. So for me, it has got to be this Manchester regional, but I'm excited to see what you have to say.
No, I do like BC, Denver. Those are kind of obviously electrifying teams, but I wouldn't put Michigan Tech and Bentley in the same category.
Why not? Why not?
Michigan Tech is a hybrid. They had some of the best goalies in the nation last season. But let me get to my choice. I'm going to go with the Fargo region.
Okay.
Western Michigan, Minnesota are the favorites for sure. Heavy favorites coming in. Both have been top 5 teams almost all season. But Minnesota and State and UMass, don't sleep on them either. They could easily pull off the upsets in this tournament. This one, there's only 2 regions that has 2 conference winners, and guess what? Fargo's one of them. Western Michigan, top 5 country all season. Incredible comeback. Like I said earlier, momentum is a big thing for me. Crazy comeback against defending champion Denver, in your region, champion Denver, 3-0 in the third period, came back, go in double overtime. Alex Bump, absolutely electrifying player. Minnesota had a disappointing early Big Ten exit, obviously, but there's so much talent on that team. That team could easily go ride and go on a national championship. Jimmy Snuggerud, Matthew Wood, Brody Zemer. They've been
Real quick, I wrote this down. I noticed that you only have 3 big-name players for Minnesota, so you're picking a team that's very top-heavy. Comments?
I mean, I could have put more, but I just wanted to save time, you know.
Oh, okay.
I have a lot of points I got to get to. I don't have time to keep
No, I'll let you keep going.
I'll show you the roster after. We can talk about it.
Go ahead.
UMass, they're one of the sleeper teams for me. They know how to play against these big teams. They have 16 games this season against tournament teams. And while granted, it is a losing record, but having that experience against those big teams, that helps big time in these tournaments. That you have that experience, you have familiarity with these teams. And they're 3-0-3 in their final 6 games heading into the tournament and heading to the Hockey East their conference tournament. They've been on a little tear on their own. And Minnesota State, they won their conference tournament. Obviously, the momentum, despite their lackluster regular season schedule. Biggest win being Michigan on opening night. But this is one of those teams that there's no stranger to upsets. That they went to the Frozen Four final just 3 years ago.
So you talk about how UMass has that experience, but you have 2 teams in the Hockey East, which is arguably the hardest conference in college hockey, in the Manchester Regional. So what's the difference there?
Thank you, Matt. Good point.
Yeah, bring up a good point.
I'll give you that.
I will say, I think in the Fargo Regional is hands down the second best regional, because the other thing to think about is with that Allentown Regional, Penn State's the host team. And Maine this year on the road, they're 7-4-3, but they were 15-2-3 at home. So Maine is a very strong team when they have their fans around them. And I'm not saying that the Maine fans aren't going to travel. Maine has a lot of fans who are very dedicated.
So I'm traveling to Boston.
They did travel to Boston, that's for sure, but Allentown's a little bit further. And for Penn State, that's a home regional for them. I think that's going to play a big factor in that as well.
No, definitely. That will be a very fun region to watch, and we'll definitely be watching it.
Yeah, for sure.
It is now time for our first commercial break of the night. But when we come back, we've got an exciting game of NCAA hockey tournament trivia planned. You won't want to miss it.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping, and I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
In honor of Quinnipiac making its 6th straight NCAA hockey tournament, we are going to play some NCAA hockey tournament trivia. I'm going to give the question, and each analyst will have a few seconds to write down their answer on their whiteboards before sharing. I will then reveal the answer. There are 6 questions, and if we are tied, there will be a 7th tiebreaker question. Are you guys ready?
I got my pen ready. Let's go, Murdoch.
I'm so ready.
All right.
The first question is, what year did the tournament become 4 regionals? Is it A, 1989, B, 1992, C, 1999, or D, 2003?
Oh, boy. All right, Murdoch.
You look all nervous.
I'm slightly nervous.
You got 4 choices.
Hey, I'm using my SAT prep, and I always know if there's one outlier, you have to pick the outlier. So I'm going D. What do you have?
I'm going to go C.
Okay, good guesses. The correct answer is D. Eli is correct.
Yes. Hey, shout out to my SAT trainer. Can't say I did good on the test, though, but that's okay.
Hey, it's paying off now.
It is paying off now.
The second question is, which of these teams was not a #1 seed when the Bobcats won the national championship in 2023? Is it A, Michigan, B, Boston University, C, Quinnipiac, or D, Denver? What do you guys think?
There's a lot of great teams up there.
So, oh boy, sorry. The brain's trying to process this right now. All right, Murdoch. So I know it's not Quinnipiac because I know they were a 1 seed. I know it's not Michigan because Quinnipiac and Michigan played and that was a battle of 1 seeds from each regional. Here's where I don't know though. We're either B or D, Murdoch. All right, I'll write one down. Murdoch, you ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm feeling it. I like your reasoning.
You like my reasoning? Oh, good. 3, 2.
You went B?
You went B?
Yeah.
Hey, let's go.
So the correct answer is B, Boston University. They defeated Denver in the regional that year as a 2 seed.
All right, Murdoch, I'm 2-0.
Huh? I just want to be on the board. I'm happy to be on the board.
You're on the board. You're on the board.
The third question is, which ECAC team received an automatic bid in 2021 but declined the invite? Is it A, St. Lawrence, B, Dartmouth, C, Cornell, or D, Colgate? Eli, you seem confident in
I'm
your
so
answer.
confident right now. This is the question that I had a feeling that our executive producer, Zach Naffa, would do it, and I knew my answer ahead of time. Let's go.
I'm not going to lie, I'm not as confident.
Murdoch, you ready to show our answers?
I'm ready to show the answers.
3, 2, 1.
B again?
It is
down?
not B.
Double down?
It is A. It is St. Lawrence, and the reason why is because their head coach, Brett Brecky, got COVID, and they had to decline the bid. So the answer is A.
That is true, Eli.
Yes!
Okay. Moving on to the next question. Are you guys ready?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, I'm born ready. I'm 3-0. I am proud of myself. I was shaking.
I on one of them.
I still got it right.
Yeah, so what? How are you 3-0?
Fine. I'm
2-1-1.
2.5.
No, 2-1-1.
2.5.
That's how scoring
Which,
works.
okay, so which team has the longest active NCAA tournament drought? Is it A, Brown, B, Dartmouth, C, Holy Cross, or D, Alaska Anchorage? What do you guys think?
Oh, crap. I got way too confident.
Oh, you like you're confident from last?
Murdoch, what's your thought process here? I'd like to hear it out.
Alaska Anchorage, it doesn't seem like they've been in the tournament for a long time.
Okay.
Dartmouth, we saw some of those banners in Plaza, so
Okay.
like, I don't remember any of them, but some of the
We did see banners in Lake Placid.
They did have the date, I think. I'm not going to tell it.
Are you guys ready?
Sure. All right, I got D.
I got C.
I'm going Alaska Anchorage. I have no idea.
The correct answer is B. Both of you guys are wrong.
I think Holy Cross.
Dartmouth, the Big Green, have not made a tournament since 1980.
It's okay. Reed Cashman, he will lead them to the promised land. That's all they need to know.
They've been coming.
For sure.
The fifth question is, which city has not hosted the Frozen Four multiple times in the last 10 years? Is it A, Tampa Bay, Florida, B, Boston, Massachusetts, C, St. Paul, Minnesota, or D, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? It's a tricky one.
Ooh. All right, Murdoch, process of elimination, little SAT training coming back into it here.
Back to the SAT, that's what I'm done with that.
I know it's not Tampa, because
know.
Quinnipiac has played there twice.
Yeah.
Won one of them, lost the other one.
Boston feels familiar. 'Cause I know they were there a couple years ago.
Boston's a hockey city, so that they definitely went twice. I can't confirm that, but in my brain, they definitely did.
I know Pittsburgh was 10 when we lost to Yale. That was a tough one.
Yeah, they lost to Yale that year. That was tough. All right, I'm okay. We'll just write down an answer.
Yeah, we'll see it.
Okay, you guys ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
Ready, Murdoch?
D?
You went D?
You did?
I went D?
The correct answer is D, Pittsburgh. They hosted in 2021, although they did also host in 2013 when Quinnipiac made the Frozen Four for the first time in program history. So my final question is, when was the last time a 16 seed upset the top seed in the first round? Is it A, 2021 with ASC versus North Dakota, B, 2018 when Air Force faced St. Cloud State, C, 2019 when AIC took on St. Cloud State, or D, 2015 with RIT against Minnesota State?
Murdoch, I am confident in this one because I did some research after I heard some news. So my pen is down. I want to hear what you have to say.
You know, we're just gonna take a shot in the dark on this one.
Are we? Okay.
Yeah, I did some research earlier in the day, but I don't know how it's gonna help.
Okay,
in this
my
one.
pen is out here. I want to see what you have first before I show my board.
I'm gonna go with C.
Dang it! It is C. You are correct.
The correct answer is C. 2019, AIC defeated St. Cloud State 2-1 in the opening round of the tournament.
Murdoch,
How you
good
feeling?
performance.
Thank you.
I feel great right now. Murdoch, you want to hear my reasoning behind why I knew AIC so quickly?
Why did you know AIC so quickly?
It's because when they got dropped from Division I looked at their history because I wanted to see how many times they've been in NCAA tournament. And fun fact, they won their first time in the NCAA tournament. It was a 16 seed.
I like that. You always gotta do your research.
Always. Big research guy.
Always be curious.
Unfortunately, it's time for us to take another break, but stick around for some debate about spring sports when we return.
Buckle up! Nobody is more prepared for an emergency than Dogman.
With all your kung fu skills and your K9 fortitude or whatnot.
But for the rest of us, a good plan goes a long way.
Come on!
on, let's go!
So, whether it's an unexpected disaster or the world's most evilest cat bent on destroying all do-gooders,
Destroy all do-gooders!
you can help your family be ready for anything.
No time to waste. Will you get out of here?
Get started today at ready.gov/kids.
Guys! We have to make a commercial for #that right now. What do we do?
How long do we have? We only had 2 months to do this.
We could explain that it's a pop culture news show that covers everything from movies, music, and video games.
Yeah, and we can also talk about how there's pre-recorded segments that vary from reviews to in-depth discussions.
We should also mention that it broadcasts live every Monday at 7 p.m. on q30tv.com/watch.
I think that covers everything. Did you guys get that down?
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. If you're just joining us, I'm Christina Tsemetis with my analysts Eli Ehlers and Brandon Murdoch. With winter sports coming to a close, some players will elect to leave Hamden for other places. QBSN has some of the best moments from some notable players to take the court for the Bobcats.
Ray is at the free throw line, gets it inside to Otieno against Roberts. And Roberts now slow to get up after the little check from Otieno. Sending a little message from Roberts as he's slow to get up to 6'10". Roberts up and on his feet.
Bobcats showing his zone look. Casso near corner steps in, loses control of the rock, and Martin rips her pockets again.
Yeah, just ran right into Anna Foley. I don't think she saw her after giving LaBarge the slip on the corner, and I think that's steal number 3 for Carson Martin on the day.
Revive far corner in front of the Quinnipiac bench. She drives baseline from the right side with the reverse layoff glass for 2. It's a double-digit lead for the Bobcats, 36-25.
And Revive does such a good job navigating her way out of close man defense, Ben.
Monroe, downhill, here he comes! Here he goes! This place is erupting!
The baseball team played Marist in a 3-game MAC matchup this weekend. The Bobcats beat the Red Foxes 12-4 on Friday, lost 8-7 on Saturday, and were defeated again 7-4 on Sunday. After starting out 6-3 in conference play, do you think baseball is making the MAC tournament? Brandon, what do you think?
I do not.
Really?
Well,
Okay.
the hot start is good, and they currently sit number 4 in second. I'm not going to lie, this is bad timing. They just got a really great win against URI today, but I do not think it's sustainable. The hitting is always going to be there with this team. We all know this. We all know what's going to happen when the Bobcats play baseball. But the pitching is simply not good enough. I just want to ask you I have some questions for you now.
Oh, great. Questions for me now.
When a
This
team
is
scores
awesome.
21 runs, what do you think they're going to win or lose?
I'd hope they'd win, because that's a lot of times that they're running the diamond.
When a team scores 13 runs, do you think they're going to win or lose?
I'd hope they're winning, because that's 13 times around the diamond.
Well, shockingly enough, Bobcat pitching gave up more runs in both of those totals in those games. The Bobcats went 0-2 in those games.
Yeah,
in
I
22
can see
games
that.
so far this season, they've only held their opponent under 5 runs 5 times. To put that in perspective, they've given up double-digit runs 5 times. This pitching is just not good enough. It does not match their hitting. If it did, I'd be more than confident in this team.
So, Murdoch, I don't disagree with you. I will say pitching is what their weak point is right now. But when they made a MAC run in 2023, they had a worse record at this point and still found a way to make it, and they lost in the MAC semifinals. I don't think that this team is guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. I think they really need to work for it, because John Delaney said, if you want to make the MAC tournament, you can't be losing series. They won Friday, you can't lose Saturday and Sunday. You have to find a way to win each series, and they weren't able to do that. So I think for them, it's going to be tough sled ahead. I think they can make it. I just don't think it's going to be an easy ride, I will say.
No, definitely. If they do, if I'm wrong on this date, I think they'll be sneaking in one of the last final spots, but you can't just rely on one part of baseball to win. Good teams can do both, and as we know, this team struggles with the pitching part. And
I will agree. Pitching has been a struggle for them.
It is now time for our final break of the night, but when we come back, it will be time for us to give our final roars. Stay with us. Bobcat Breakdown will be right back.
No, I'm not gambling. Live from the Piazza, it's Quinnipiac tonight!
Everyone has a ritual. That small thing we do to keep us focused.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game?
To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health.
Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Find the resources you need to keep your mental health a priority.
Love your mind.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right? It's comfortable. So how's civilian life treating you? It's fine. When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because I felt like a failure. And then I realized, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay. Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. It is now time for our final roars. I'll start us off. The women's lacrosse team has started out their season 5-4 so far, going 2-13 last season. Much of this success is due to first-year goalkeeper Shannon Alden. She is currently 2nd in saves per game, 4th in saves, and 14th in save percentage in the entire NCAA. Her stats in the MAC are even more impressive, as she's 1st in both saves per game and save percentage, while she's 4th in goals against average. These stats are not unfamiliar to me as a former lacrosse goalie. In net, it's a mind game. It's important to be mentally strong to succeed as a goalie, especially when there's so much pressure on you as the team's last line of defense. As a first year, there's the extra challenge of adapting to everything college throws your way. Although I no longer play lacrosse, a sport that I love, I am lucky to be a beat reporter as a first year and have the opportunity to cover the sport. Being a goalie is no easy task, and neither is being involved in student media. Both jobs take a lot of mental strength and confidence in yourself. Whether you're on the field or in front of the camera, the people around you are the ones who build you up for the better. I'm truly lucky to have the people I do on my team.
I want to talk men's ice hockey and redemption. By this time next week, the team will have either gotten the job done and will be heading to St. Louis, or their season will be done. Their bracket is full of opportunity for redemption, starting with UConn on Friday, a team that ended the Bobcats' 3-year run as the CT Ice champions this season in the final half-second in regulation. If they get past that test, they have a chance to play in the University of Maine, a team that swept them up in Orono earlier this season. And finally, they have a chance to win the region and reach their second Frozen Four in the last 3 seasons, getting redemption for their heartbreaking loss in the regional final a year ago to eventual national runner-up Boston College. When you think of Quinnipiac hockey, you typically don't think of needing redemption, you think of dominance. This past season has been the toughest for the group in a while, but coming back from early season struggles have made this team battle-tested and fully prepared for the road ahead. So make sure to grab your popcorn and get ready to cheer on the last remaining winter sports team as they look to be champions once again.
This season has been a whirlwind for the Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team. They entered ECAC play with a .500 record for the first time since the 2008-2009 season. They have faced plenty of adversity and doubts. The doubt came with reason though. Having 15 new players on the roster isn't an easy thing to do. Following their first 0-2 conference opening weekend since 2017, there was one player who came back onto the ice to put in extra work. Captain Travis Treloar laced his skates back up and shot puck after puck for nearly half an hour. It took an arena attendee to ask him to get off so they can bring the Zamboni on. Leadership. It hasn't been easy for Treloar being the first captain in just his second season in Hamden. With the likes of Colin Graff, Jacob Quillen, Sam Lipkin, and Charles Alexi Legault heading to the big leagues, Treloar had to step up. He struggled early in the season with just 4 goals and no assists through the 6 non-conference games. But once his team went 0-2 to open ECAC play, he has turned into the leader Rand Pecknell needed. Treelor has guided the young core all season long, so what's stopping him from leading them through 4 more games?
That's all the time we have for Bobcat Breakdown this week. Thank you to all the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes. Stay up to date on everything Quinnipiac sports and follow us at Q30 Sports on X and Instagram and on Q30TV.com. For Eli Ehlers and Brandon Murdoch, I'm Christina Tsimenis. Have a great night, Bobcats.